Hi everyone, my name is Fiona and I work for the British Red Cross. When I was at school, my favourite subject was geography, and today I'm going to tell you about how I went from a geography pupil at school to a geography student at university to a professional geographer who uses it every day in my career at one of the world's largest charities. However, you'll never find a job advert for a professional geographer. That's because geography is about everything in the world and how it all links together. So it overlaps with lots of other subjects in school too, and lots of other careers. That makes it a great subject to take the GCSE if you want to understand a wide range of things going on in the world and keep your doors open for different pathways in the future. Conservationists, flooding engineers, cartographers, people that work in renewable energy, all of these people could call themselves professional geographers, and they could work anywhere, in government, in public services, in private companies, or in charities like I do. Right now, my job is a GIS and Information Management Advisor. GIS stands for Geographical Information Systems, and it's a type of software used to build digital maps with layers of useful geographic information overlaid. Information management means that I work with big quantities of data to make it easier to understand and turn it into useful information for people making decisions about the work of the Red Cross. I'm also trained to be sent overseas to a disaster zone to support immediately afterwards with the recovery. Before this, I worked in another part of the British Red Cross to support and empower refugees and asylum seekers living in Europe to feel more welcome and settled into their new communities. No 2 days are the same at the Red Cross. Sometimes I'm traveling overseas to work in other countries. Sometimes I spend all of my day behind a computer in the UK. And sometimes I'm changing my plans at the last minute to respond to an urgent need. I did this quite a lot at the very beginning of the first COVID-19 lockdown. So how did I get from a geography pupil at school to where I am now? When I took my GCSEs and A-levels, I really liked physical geography, especially learning about earthquakes, volcanoes, hurricanes, all the big natural disasters and how they occurred. That overlapped with some of the stuff that I learned in physics and chemistry at GCSE. However, I was also interested in topics like climate change, deforestation, recycling, and pollution. That linked to biology, but it also got me interested in the human aspects of these problems. Things like why the governments of developing countries will accept landfill waste that's been shipped from Europe. I learned more about this by taking an A-level in environmental science, but also in subjects like politics, citizenship, and history. By looking at cultures and traditions around the world and the relationships between different countries and the environment, both now and in the past, we can learn about how this can create unstable areas of the world, and it can even lead to war. When I first went to university, I studied for a Bachelor of Science in Geography, and I was particularly interested in volcanoes. However, over time, I started to realise that I was leaning away from the geology of what was going on under the ground and more towards the human impacts of disasters and what this meant for the bigger picture of the world. I wanted to learn more about how people living in disaster zones can be supported and informed so that they know what to do when a disaster strikes. And I wanted to learn more about the challenges that they face and that governments face when people need to flee from an area. I wanted to know how I could help people that were fleeing not only to survive, but to recover and to rebuild their lives. I ended up switching my degree programme from straight geography to a sister subject called Global Development and Sustainability. This course was great for me because it linked together the human, the physical, the environmental, and the development sides of geography. I travelled to Zambia and to South Africa to work in different schools, and I learned about the challenges that children and teachers face when a government doesn't have much money, when there's lots of poverty and lots of inequality. Both before, during, and after my time at university, I did lots of volunteering with different organisations, including the Red Cross for emergency response in the UK, and also other charities that work with refugees and asylum seekers. And I did that in the UK and in France. I started doing this because I really wanted to support people who were living in incredibly challenging situations. However, after university, it was because I had this volunteering experience that I was able to get an internship with one of these charities. And then later on, I applied for my first job with the Red Cross. I would say that easily over 90% of my colleagues at the Red Cross started off in the charity sector as volunteers. So if you want to work in a charity, it's a great way to get experience, to see if you like it, but most importantly, to support people and to make a difference. The Red Cross has some great youth volunteering opportunities as well, so you should definitely check out our website. Whilst I've worked at the British Red Cross, I've kept learning and I've kept evolving as a geographer, and I don't think that will ever stop. Geography makes me a better humanitarian, and I would recommend studying it to absolutely everybody who wants to better understand the world around them.